YouTube, this is Gemmy in transit, and today we'll call this an early, we'll say preemptive 1500 subscriber special. So before I start off, I want to say I've attempted to review this inflatable in the past, and there are logistical problems with reviewing this inflatable, and the number one reason is its size. Now, people ask me about this inflatable all the time, and you can see this may as well be like a tarp laid out across my yard. This is the 2017 Colossal Air Santa. This is dimensionally the largest inflatable I have ever seen. I don't say that lightly either. It's not the tallest, it's not the longest, it's not the deepest, and it's not the biggest at all by any means, but in every dimension it averages largest in each one of those categories. So not any one specific it's tallest, longest, widest, whatever, but like I said, in all of them combined, it is the biggest. Usually one inflatable will excel in one area or another, specifically length or height. This is all of them. So it averages out to a very, very large inflatable. So I'm going to go over a few basic things here, and then I'm going to try my best to give you a decent view of this thing inflated and inflating. So the big, okay, I store this in, I think it's like a 40 or 50 or 55 gallon tub, and it still hardly feels like enough. I know one of my closest friends, Gemmy Inflatable Fans 98, Riley, has this, and I've seen the retail box for it, and it is about the same size as that, which is pretty crazy, if not bigger, because I kind of really stuff it in there. And I had the thought, I was like, it's kind of interesting because this does not have Colossal fabric, and it very well needs it. There's two blemishes here you can see, and they're pretty big. I use flex tape on my inflatables. I don't really sell my items. I don't sell them. So I use flex tape because I use them. And it doesn't look pretty, but it freaking works, and it works well. And that's another thing I wanted to address. A lot of people ask me if I want to sell this. This is one of the bigger grails in my collection, along with a few others, and I do not wish to sell this. This is an inflatable I've wanted for a very long time, and am happy to present it here for the 1500 subscriber special. So with that being said, I'd like to plug it in. It has one, count them, one YEF 200, and it is not enough, but this inflatable actually inflates pretty good. Does not, by any stretch of the imagination, want to explode, but it inflates fine. So we're going to plug it in if I can find it. I mean, again, it's like going through like a few tarps on the ground, so here we go. And yeah, like depending on the inflatable, it's like barely going up, but yeah, like depending on the inflatable, oftentimes I'll cut until it's inflated, but I kind of want to capture the magnitude of what this thing is like blowing up. And I mean, it doesn't take nearly as long as a lot of the 20 footers, and I think the reason for that is because a lot of those 20 footers have YEF 60s. And this is not that. This is a 200. But it still takes a considerable amount of time, and you can see there's some fading there. I did get this inflatable off of Marketplace. I actually drove to a different state for it, and it wasn't very far. But the concept of driving to another state for an inflatable was kind of foreign to me until I bought this. This tape job, however, while it is permanent, this tape, I tried to get this tape off, and I could not get it off. This tape is, it's clear, so it doesn't look as bad as my flex tape job, but it's on there. That's a pretty big hole. But if this were to ever break, this is a hole that's pretty sewable. And I am definitely not a sewer, but if it meant saving this inflatable, I probably would, honestly. Let's see if I can just even out that wing here. And like I said, like dimensionally, specifically, this inflatable is just a problem to try and find a way to review, because it takes up like the size of a swimming pool. And so the house starts there, the peach tree is here, there's a stump here, and blah blah blah. But if you position it just right, like I have it now, it's usually okay. And I'm trying to get in the video how big this thing is, but you really don't start to capture it until it starts to get up fully. This is an inflatable that you commonly see very worn out. Riley from Gemmy Inflatable Fans 98, his, I think, has seen better days, but he still uses it and it still works, more or less good. And me and him talk all the time, and that's one that he loves. I know I'd never want to let go of it either, and I recommend going over to his channel, watching his videos and reviews. He's up there with one of the best, I think. Now you can sort of start to see what I mean. And this, like over here, like with the blow up slide that planes have, you kind of have to adjust it because it kind of looks sloppy until you really get everything into place. And I did find out that this elf came unstitched from this present, so you take the good with the bad, especially because I don't recall if I mentioned it already, but I did pay $75 for this inflatable. So okay, I'm gonna do my best here. Here it is. This thing is a mammoth, and that is not doing it justice when I say it that way. You can see it from there. So yeah, I can kind of do some gymnastics here and obstacles to kind of show you from different angles, but there's no good way I can capture this whole thing unless I zoom out, which I'm not going to do because it messes with the way it looks. But here it is from the back. This inflatable is ridiculous. I love it. I really do. This thing is impossible to find in decent shape, and I come up to about here on it. I'm a short guy. I'm 5'7". So you can imagine this thing is enormous. The fabric's still crunchy. It's, works good. It's pretty wrinkly, but needless to say, it almost, it probably is close to the size of a small, not commercial jet, but a private jet. One of the biggest things you see with this inflatable that starts buckling first is the column or the pillar rather, where the fan is. Mine doesn't have that problem. It's not wearing out. So we're gonna push this wing aside here. And you can see, it inflates fine. Doesn't want to explode, but it inflates good. So we'll give you a look inside here, still back when they did metal zippers. This I'll zoom out so you can kind of get a wider view. Yeah, that's kind of crazy, but one other thing I did want to mention before I take this video to a close is that underneath, well, let's put it back, there we go, is underneath where the fan is, and I can thank Chase the Inflatable God for this cool tidbit of trivia. He's full of that kind of cool stuff, is that I noticed the fan is separate from the light string, which is awesome. I wish more inflatables, specifically Colossal inflatables, had that feature, and I'll elaborate a little bit on that. So what I mean specifically is it's got a separate plug. So if I were to want to replace the fan on this someday, if I want to put a Whirlwind on it, which I think would be great, I could just unplug the light string and plug it into the Whirlwind, because the Whirlwind fans have a lot of the time a specific plug for the light string in those as well, just like the 12-foot Globe, which I harvested the fan off of temporarily because it's so easy to remove, and so it feels very plug and play. So anyway, just want to thank you guys for 1,500 subscribers. It feels very surreal to say, but as of this coming year, January, I will have been on YouTube for 15 years reviewing inflatables, and that is such a bizarre concept to try and grasp. But since that Penguin Snow Fort Scene inflatable, which I still do have, it's been a fun ride, and I don't plan on slowing down anytime soon. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.